All right, welcome back to Ticats Today. Very pleased now to be joined by Amanda Ruller. She's an assistant coach with the McMaster Mauraders on top of everything else that she does. Amanda, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for joining us. The week of International Women's Day, it feels fitting that you're here with us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me. I am an international woman, doing stuff in the football industry. So it fits in really nice. And thanks for having me on.
Lots to get into. The Ontario Combine is actually going on as we speak. You just got back from the NFL Combine. But before we get to that, I want to congratulate you. Recently announced as one of 18 former student athletes to be taking part in the 2022-2023 U Sports Female Apprenticeship Program. Now, you were already part of the McMaster staff from last year with Stefan Potasic bringing you on. What does this mean to you to be recognized as one of these 18 women?
Yeah, amazing. Like I was very surprised they had asked, like, we really want you to continue and to come back because, the program I was with last year was only 1 year term. And for them to even say, I did a great job, and come in and they want me to come back. That really touched my heart and makes me feel like I am valuable within this industry, in this field. So I was very, very honored that they even went above and beyond to help me apply for that grant and get that with U Sport. Was great. And I just feel so lucky to be in this industry and be wanted and valued within U Sport community. And I will come back this year for the semester. I'm actually in Hamilton for spring ball right now, which is great. So I get to meet some of the new players and get back with the coaches and get back into the groove of things.
What did you take away from working with Coach Potasic and the rest of the staff that you were obviously very knowledgeable about football. You knew what you were doing. You played the game. You had coached it elsewhere. But what did you take away last year that really stuck with you heading into this new season?
Yeah, like you said, when you have the knowledge, but you can always learn more. And I kind of absorbed everything these coaches had to offer because obviously they've had way more experience than me. They've been doing it a lot longer. So I asked tons of questions, and these coaches never made me feel like I couldn't ask anything or I couldn't just shadow them and watch how they approached the athletes or they approached constructing a practice. I learned so much more than I ever could have thought. And it was just from their experience and their value. I would do something and I say, what do you think of this? So I would get their input and their feedback all the time, and me just learning how to construct a practice a little bit better. And they actually let me do scout defense. So I was running that for a bit, and I never had done that before. So I learned quite a bit from them with that aspect, how to run that, how to manage that, and how to do that to the best of my ability is invaluable. Like I can go now with more confidence into this year, and then maybe on to the next level.
I think you might agree with the idea that we want to get to the point where this isn't news, right? Where, a woman coaching a men's team is not something that needs a big press release. It's just something that happens. We're not there yet. But why do you think it's important for you right now in university for young players who are making that jump from high school to college ball to see right away that it's not a big deal? Amanda's just like every other coach on the team, and hopefully you'll see more coaches like Amanda beyond college, or you personally beyond college, and it won't be a big deal.
Yeah, even growing up, I asked my parents, can I get into football at a young age? And they said, you can do anything the boys can do. I was set that early on. So I never thought that it was a big deal, like you said. And even me going to the NFL Combine, oh my goodness, I met Katrin Rach, I met Jennifer King, Coach Lowe, meeting those women in the NFL. And they never even brought up once that they're a woman coaching in the NFL or they're a woman VP of operations in the NFL. They just said, I am. And that's the language that I want to bring into Canada, just because I feel like we're not there quite yet. And I think athletes, when I work with them, especially at McMaster, they never saw me as a woman coach. They saw me as Coach Ruller. Because I did kind of ask them at the end of the season, what did you think? Because obviously I like to get feedback and see what's up. I really appreciated that. The amount of love and respect I saw to these athletes. Well, I'm a leader in myself, and I'm trying to get these guys to be successful, but also growing them up as leaders. And that's huge for me. And once they love and respect coaches in the field, whether that be whatever gender it might be or whoever they are, that's huge for our community and huge for Canadian football.
you said, good leaders on and off the field, right? Because it's also great to see, a woman in authority figure, a coach, but I mean, that can change how people see women outside of football too. And like you said, with young players, and you're really, I mean, you're shaping minds, but you're also kicking their butt. And I want to talk about that because you got 3 of your guys who are at the Ontario Combine. Like I said, as we speak, we're talking on Thursday. Show is Friday, but we're talking Justice Allen, Mario Alias, and Enoch Penny Laria. Let's start with Justice, because I was lucky enough to get to see him, from the sidelines when I was working with Cable 14. He's a really talented guy, someone who's probably going to put up some big numbers today.
I got to work with him obviously because he was a running back. So personally, one-on-one, I got to work with him a lot, and he was such a great, hardworking athlete. Obviously, he did tons of great things. I probably know more stats on him. So 52 carries with 314 yards last year, which was amazing, to say the least. So he was someone I really looked to help lead myself, but he shaped me as a running backs coach because we communicated really well and fed off each other. I said, what do you need as an athlete? How can I best serve you the best to be even considered for the CFL Combine? And helping those guys kind of train, like near the end of the season when we were done, helping those guys train, prepare, and get ready for the Combine coming in was so huge, helping with 40 and 3-cone and those kind of elements. He's a hard worker. He's a good athlete, and he's someone to watch.
I mean, the specific drills that they're doing at the Combine, how often are they doing that in practice? Is that something that you work with them away from regular day-to-day practice? Is that something they'd work on with a fitness instructor? Because, I mean, they're very specific events where you want to put up big numbers. Like, how often are these people, these guys, going out and training for these? I want to ask.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good question. So it was quite interesting because I got to wear a couple different hats. Like I said, I was a football coach, a running backs coach, but I also was helping with strength and conditioning. So they would see the S&C coach on the side. And you would work on these drills literally every day. For example, if you were working on a powerful start, and there were so many different elements, like we had different coaches and people coming in to work with starts, people coming in to work with just those first steps of the 3-cone drill, or just even the L drill. They have to work on these elements, the little pieces, every single day, even working on their explosive energy for a vertical jump. It is huge. And me going to just the NFL Combine, like I had mentioned, they put a big emphasis on these events. It's not the be all end all, right? Tape shows tape, and they can see that, but this does help the scouts see. And I got to actually sit with a lot of the scouts at the NFL Combine, and I was helping time 20 splits. Like, for example, a lot of people said, what was the deal with the 40? Like, do we really need the 40 going into like more years? Like, do we need to keep that? And I said, yes, because the scouts heavily look at our 10-yard split, the 20-yard split, and essentially the 40. But you know what? Yeah. Those splits really help the scouts find out like where your explosive energy and speed is.
I just so to dumb it down for people like me, or I should say to dumb it down for me, a good split, like a good start would show up in the first 10-second split, right? That means you have a lot of speed. Or the last 10 would show you that, you got that little extra burst at the end. Is that kind of how it breaks down?
100%. Yeah, exactly. Like if I was to talk about this with anyone, positional wise, for example, if you're taking an O lineman, the 10-yard really matters. So if I was timing an O lineman, I'd probably want it 2 seconds and below. Right. And even if it's getting into the 1.6, like that's a really good time. So you can see how fast they are off the line comparative to, say, if you were doing a receiver, I'd probably do a flying 10. So you could do even just the 20 yards and then time the last 10. I know it kind of gets a little muddy and confusing, but when you see different positions, right? If you're explosive off the line, that's for a guy that's running just short distances. But then the receivers, you want to work on that maximal velocity, which is a little bit farther down, seeing how fast they can get up to their speed at the end. So which is kind of cool to see different positions and where their timing is at.
Yeah. What did you take away? Like you mentioned a couple of things there you took away from working with scouts, but was there one thing that stood out to you the most about the whole experience of the NFL Combine? I've only watched it on TV. It's overwhelming to watch on TV. I can only imagine being there in person.
Oh my goodness. It was very fast paced. I got to talk with coaches, scouts, Bruce Arian. I actually talked to him about advice for new coaches. And the number one thing, I never thought anyone would say this, is he wished that he would have communicated more with his athletes in the beginning, giving guys that he thought did well, like a pat on the back and just saying you did well. And then guys that he didn't think were good enough, sometimes he would just cut them without letting them know. So he wished he communicated more and gave them more feedback along the way. So that's something I took away. Never, would put, it's just something as simple as communication up front and for new coaches, which I'm like, okay, I will do that. I'm creating leaders. This is what I need to do. And me just sitting with the different scouts and finding out what they're actually looking for in these athletes during the combine, right? It could be not just great numbers. Like, yes, you could run a very fast 40 and you're going to be one of the first round draft picks because of that. But it's just presence. When you walk in the building, these scouts are watching every move that you make, how you interact with people. Are you picking up maybe some garbage on the sidelines from the combine? Because we did see one of the athletes doing that, and that's showing just strength and character and conviction in who you are. They're watching every single element. And sometimes I noticed the bench press, like 80% of the guys actually opted out of doing bench press. The scouts were even saying like we don't put emphasis on the bench at all. And I wish there was, like me as an S&C or strength and conditioning coach, I wish there was another test, maybe just like a jammer where we can see velocity based training, see how fast they can get that arm out, or even a maximal hex bar deadlift. Because, or maybe just like for speed, because that shows more correlation towards your speed on the field than anything else. Bench press is something I think we need to get rid of.
Well, if anyone would know, you would know. I mean, as someone who
conversations we had at the combine.
What's next for Amanda Ruller? I mean, you got this season that you're preparing for, but you watched Tanya Walters in BC. I know you were on last time we talked. You had kind of made the commitment. You want to be kind of the first female head coach in the CFL, but a couple of steps to get there. So what's next for Amanda Ruller?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited for stuff coming up, and there's some stuff in the works, but I am back with McMaster, which is great. So I think that's the next step, right? Because you have to get more and more experience, especially in this field. And I did gain that confidence last year working with these coaches and the athletes, but me just doing another season with them, I think that's going to even elevate me and who I am altogether. And it's being at the NFL Combine, I gained a lot of really great contacts because I have applied for tons of internships within the NFL, and it's hard because they can't see your face. So if I was to give advice to new coaches, it's just get in front of the right people. And it's me being here at McMaster. It's me being at the NFL Combine. So really getting your face in front of the people that make the decisions. And I think me being around these people, CFL is in my wheelhouse, and I'm going to be making it there before you know it. So we'll just keep praying, keep working, keep grinding, and see if that gets me to the places I want to go.
And you've given us a ton of great advice, but specifically for any young women who may be watching or listening to this, what do you want to tell them?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, is do not be afraid to get in front of the people that you want to get in front of. Like, make your way and make it known that you want to be working in this industry. Like, for example, I wanted to get in front of those coaches, right? In the NFL, at the NFL Combine. I even found a way to get there. Like, I worked for Sports Illustrated that week, all last week, just to get there so I could get my hands in coaching. And I sat with scouts and showed them what I knew. I was there for media, yes, but it was a way for me to get there. So find what you want to do and find a way how to get there, right? Because you're not going to get there just sitting and praying. I wish I had an opportunity. Make your own luck, make your own opportunity, and it will happen for you.
It's not just great advice for young women who are watching this, but for anyone watching this, make your own luck. Amanda, I always enjoy talking to you, whether it's at the Grey Cup, hopefully it's at the Combine later this month, but thanks for doing this. Great to see you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for having me.